So you've heard of a little thing called ChatGPT? You've fallen in love with it, or it's causing you a massive headache? Teachers. In this video, we're going to go over some techniques that you can use to write effective prompts. So stick around if you want to get ahead of your peers and you want to rub some knowledge into their face. Before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to say this one important point first, and that is prompt size matters. Any prompt that's been submitted to ChatGPT can use up to 8,192 tokens. However, ChatGPT's response is included in that token limit. You may be putting yourself at a huge disadvantage if you're writing these large prompts because you're going to get limited output. OpenAI have a tool called a tokenizer that can be used to break down a piece of text and visualize how it would be tokenized by the OpenAI API. Like for instance, the text, "Hello there, my name is Benjamin Franklin," uses 8 tokens, despite it being 40 characters. A helpful rule of thumb is that 1 token generally corresponds to 4 characters of text. So what is a token? A token is a small unit of information that is used by AI to represent words or other types of data. So in natural language processing, tokens are used to break down text into individual words or phrases that can be analyzed and processed by the AI. So say for instance, you're playing a game of Scrabble, you have a bunch of tiles with letters on them. Each tile is like a token representing a specific letter. When you use those tiles to create a word, you're essentially using the tokens to represent a larger piece of information, the word. So the first technique is chain of thought prompting. So let me try and explain this in a really simple, dumbed down way. So imagine you have a very smart brain. His name's ChatGPT. He knows lots of things about many things, but sometimes he gets confused and forgets some important details. You want to ask him some questions, but you want to make sure you get really good answers from him. So we'll use chain of thought prompting. This means that you're not going to ask him a question directly, but you're also going to show him how you would think about it step by step. For example, if you want to know how many planets are in the solar system, you might say something like this: "I want to know how many planets are in the solar system. First, I need to remember what a planet is. A planet is a large object that orbits around a star like the sun. Secondly, I need to count how many planets there are that orbit around the sun. I can use the mnemonic, 'My very educated mother just served us noodles,' to help me remember their names. Third, I need to add up how many planets I have counted so far. That gives me 8 planets in total. So yes, the answer is 8. There are 8 planets in the solar system." By using chain of thought prompting, you help ChatGPT understand your question better and, most importantly, follow your logic. This way, ChatGPT can give you more accurate and clear answers than if you just asked him how many planets are in the solar system without any explanation. Please take a look at the chain of thought prompting guide on the Learn Prompting website. So after you provide ChatGPT with your example and explain your reasoning on how to solve that example, you can then feed ChatGPT another question. But this time, ChatGPT will then use your reasoning and your logic on how you solved the previous question on any other prompts that you feed it. So the next technique, zero-shot chain of thought. So in this scenario, you don't have time to explain to ChatGPT and how to solve a problem. You want to see if ChatGPT can figure it out for itself. That's when you will use zero-shot chain of thought prompting. Zero-shot means you don't give ChatGPT any examples or hints before asking it a question. You essentially just tell him, "Let's think about this step by step." By using zero-shot chain of thought prompting, you challenge ChatGPT to use its own knowledge and reasoning skills to answer any question you pose to it, and ChatGPT will also show its steps on how it got to that answer and as well explain its answer. This way you're going to get more accurate and interesting answers from ChatGPT than if you just asked it who is the president of France without any instruction. The next technique is a fun one, and it's probably one of my favorites, and that is role-based prompting. That means you tell ChatGPT what role to play before you ask it anything. For example, you want ChatGPT to be your teacher and help you with your homework. You will say something like this: "ChatGPT, you're my teacher. I am your student. I have a homework questions about fractions. Please explain how to add a half and a quarter." By using role-based prompting, you help ChatGPT understand what kind of answer you expect from it and how it should behave. This way, ChatGPT is providing more helpful and engaging answers, and rather than you just asking it how to add a half and a quarter without any context. I did find this awesome ChatGPT prompt GitHub repository, and that is literally its name, Awesome ChatGPT Prompts, that I'll link down in the description below. It is filled with so many role-based prompts that have already been crafted by people and shared with the community. So finally, my most favorite technique, and is slightly related to the last prompting technique, act as a critic prompt. So say for instance, you've written something, like a story or an essay, and you want to make it better. You want someone to give you honest feedback and suggestions on how to improve that piece of text that you've created yourself. One way is to use critic prompting. You do this by asking ChatGPT to act as a critic and review your text. So you tell it what you've written. For example, if you've written a movie review and you want him to check your grammar, style, and content, you could say something like this: ChatGPT, you are a movie critic. I am a writer. I have written a movie review about The Lion King. Please criticize my writing and tell me how I can improve it. By using critic prompting, you get ChatGPT to use its own knowledge and skills to analyze your writing and give you constructive criticism. You can even get ChatGPT to rewrite your text and show you how it would improve it based on the critique it passed on to you. This way you can take your writing to like the next level by making it clearer and more engaging, more creative, and more accurate. In the description, there will be a critic prompt that you can use as a framework. Please make sure to check out the resources that I've discussed in this video. All of them are down below. Please tell me what you plan to do with these prompts. I'm really interested to know. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.